This is your reminder that the Second Amendment is for everybody.
But first, PRMI Mortgage, primeres.com/Alpine. Are you in the military? Are you looking for help on a VA loan? Or maybe you're just looking to buy, refi, or even consider a reverse mortgage? Give our local mortgage guy a call that you can trust. Chris Wiley at PRMI Mortgage. For nearly 25 years, Chris has been helping local San Diegans with all their mortgage needs. Call Chris at 619-722-1303 or just go to primeres.com/Alpine. I called him to do a reverse mortgage, and he said no. Why would he say no? He can't make any money if he says no.
Because it wasn't good for you.
Exactly. All right, hey, who's our next guest online?
So one of the coolest things that I've seen in the gun industry, in the last 5 years is the broad appeal that firearms ownership has really taken on. I mean, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there was a very specific stereotype. There wasn't a lot of diversity. Mostly men.
Old, crotchety ex-military.
Yeah. We call them pale, stale, and male. Old white guys.
Okay, all complaints, 1-800. Mike, 1-800.
Pale, stale, and male. Truly, especially in the last few years, we've seen a wide variety of people. And RECOIL Magazine, if you are not subscribed to RECOIL Magazine yet, that's San Diego County Gun Owners. That's our favorite magazine. If you're a 10-ring member, you get a free issue. Check them out at recoilweb.com. They're a fantastic Second Amendment gun magazine. They just did a very cool article on Alaina Hicks. Alaina is our guest, and the world may know Alaina better as Bonnie Rotten when she was an adult film star. But Alaina is now a gun owner and is getting into the world of competition, and she's joining us here today to talk about it. Hi, Alaina.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you guys so much for having me.
You bet. You're on
What a fabulous introduction.
Well, good. I'm glad. So you're actually on the air here with my wife, Laura.
Hello.
Hi, Laura.
And I'm his son, David.
Hi.
So let's
How's
talk.
everybody doing?
Fantastic. So well. And congratulations on the article with RECOIL. I thought it was really, really
Thank
well
you.
done. What did you think of the final product?
I was so excited. I actually kind of cried a little bit because, I spoke to Ian and they approached me about the project, and I was like, yeah, I would absolutely love that. What do you guys have in mind? And we aligned our visions together, and it came to life. They put me on an interview with a girl who wrote everything up, and she wrote everything up like exactly how I really wanted it to get out there. And the photos turned out amazing. The response was amazing. I literally couldn't have asked for a better end product.
So how did you know Ian and RECOIL? How did they find you, or what was the catalyst there?
So I actually am friends with a guy who's an editor for another gun magazine, and we are friends on Instagram, and he does stuff for RECOIL sometimes. And he just hit me up one day, and he's like, hey, RECOIL wants to talk to you. And I was like, oh, really? And I was like, that's cool. And he's like, yeah, here's Ian's number, call him.
That's cool. I really like RECOIL. I refer to them as they're like the GQ of gun magazines. And
that's accurate. Yeah.
Occasionally they actually some of their staffers correct me and say that no, GQ is the RECOIL magazine of for men. So
yes.
it's anyway. What high quality, great photos, great writing, really fantastic. But what attracted them to you? Why did they write about you? What was the story? Tell everybody what the story kind of centered on.
So the story centered on the fact, of course, I'm from Ohio. I moved to California 10 years ago, and I was in the adult industry from 2018 to 2014 to 2018, sorry. And, I basically retired from that, and I had my daughter in 2016, and I was pretty much in the entertainment world. So you guys understand how most of the entertainment world thinks here politically in Hollywood and whatnot. And I wasn't necessarily a gun advocate in the beginning. I had been around, I'd shot guns. I didn't grow up with guns in Ohio at all. My grandfather raised me, and they were never in my household. It was never a thing for me. So I kind of had that unknown fear, So when I was going on the road and I was dancing at clubs, I was actually a frequenter at a club in Denver, Colorado. And the people at that club, they had a bunch of guns. They were by a range. So they kept taking me to the range every time I would go out there. And I started to warm up to it. And I actually saw the beauty in the gun industry during COVID, because I was locked inside and all of this political stuff. I mean, it kind of blew the lid off of like anything that I ever thought before. It made me really take a look at politics and make my own decisions for myself, not centered on like, you know, a majority idea of what the adult industry kind of had. The more, I don't know how to explain it. I guess,
like
liberal standpoint on everything, and pretty like not conservative when it comes to guns, very against guns. So
you know, that surprises me though. I can definitely see, you know, why the adult industry wouldn't be conservative. That seems kind of, you know, opposite ends of the spectrum. But when it comes to, you know, rights and liberty and safety,
exactly,
that seems like it'd be right in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, the protection aspect.
That's what kind of switched me too, because I was always such a big proponent of like, hey, like our First Amendment is extremely important, like censorship, all these different things that we deal with. It's not exactly fair as long as we're being like, you know, like concerned about who we put our content out there to, like not, you know, allowing children, all that kind of stuff to see it, but not being censored 100% on social media, like what started to happen a couple years back. And so I started actually speaking out against that and realizing like, okay, if they're coming after our First Amendment, they're going to come after our Second Amendment. And it all goes hand in hand. So now, as an advocate of the Second Amendment, I realize without the Second Amendment, we can't have the First Amendment.
You know, it kind of surprises me. I thought that, or maybe it's both, but I was thinking that your interest was going to be a little bit more having to do with protection. You know, you want to be able to protect yourself. But it sounds like your primary interest was really more of a political motivation. Is that accurate, or were they kind of both at the same time, or?
Well, I mean, I started training, and I felt like the first day I went to the range, like after just like traveling and doing that for fun or whatever, the first day I went to the actual range to train, I fell in love with it. That was last year, almost to the date. And I went to Terrence for the first time, and I was like, this environment is really cool. This is not what people think it is. This is not like, you know, this like scary macho thing that women can't be involved with. I saw women that were shooting, that were glorified. And for me, I'm like, that's everything that I would love, to be welcomed for my talent, not for my looks.
So Alaina, let me, because I got to be honest with you, the way I looked at it, I looked you up, extremely attractive. So my first thought was, you know, because you're traveling around town or cities and states, and you're doing your show at different areas, I doubt you had an entourage with you, you know, big burly guys protecting you. I would assume that maybe you had run into a situation at one of your appearances to what puts you in a position where you say, hey, man, I got to get some safety. I got to get some training. Did that ever come into this at all, or did you just kind of morph into it because of the way these people took care of you and took you to the range?
I mean, I had people that were at the clubs that would kind of guard me, and some of these people did carry.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So,
gotcha.
But then when I wasn't in their vicinity, like if I'm at the hotel and stuff, there was fans and stuff that actually have come to my hotels and like had the front desk call me and be like, hey, we're, you know, this person downstairs, you know them.
That's
and I'm
scary.
like, absolutely not.
So we're talking to Alaina Hicks, better known as Bonnie Rotten, about a RECOIL interview, and we're going to talk to her more after the commercial.
Hey, we are proud to partner with the National Concealed Carry Association as a 10-ring partner. NCCA exists to serve the Second Amendment community by providing a nationwide network of 2A advocates. They offer elite self-defense and concealed carry training from the nation's top instructors. They provide rock-bottom prices on the best selection of gear and accessories. Join them today. Members get great prices and free shipping. Learn more about them at nationalconcealedcarryassociation.com.
Okay, we're talking to Alaina Hicks, better known as adult film star Bonnie Rotten, about her journey into gun ownership and really gun advocacy, don't you think, Alaina?
Absolutely.
So what's it like being in the entertainment industry in L.A., in California, in 2021, and being pro-gun?
Well, I've definitely lost a lot of my following.
Whoa,
Wait.
wait. Talk about that. You've lost like when you say following, you're talking about fans have actually said, "Hey, you're pro-gun. I'm out of here."
Oh yeah, 100%. And actually, it's gone as far as Instagram completely shadow banning my account, so people can't. I have 2 million followers on Instagram. People can't even find my profile on Instagram.
What's your profile? Give your profile out right now so people can go on Instagram and follow you.
It's at official Bonnie Rotten. And so I used to have at least 60,000 likes on a photo, like 30 low. I now am getting 2,000 to 3,000 likes per photo.
And that's any photo or just gun
any
photos?
Any photo. No. Any photo. I've tested it.
And that's because of your position?
Yep.
Jeez.
So if I were still just posting like scantily clad pictures, I wouldn't be an issue. But if I were posting guns, boom, they've pretty much tanked my entire engagement.
Oh my God, you have a brain. Who would have thought?
Right.
Oh, and by the way, I do have to congratulate you. You were the AVN Award for Female Performer of the Year, and I think that's huge. Everybody needs to know that.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. Okay, so that's a bunch of people on the internet. What about in person, like friends or when you came out as a gun owner? It's a lot harder for people to say things to your face, or interact with you in person. Did you have any negative consequences in person?
Well, I've actually had family members that I don't really speak to now.
Because you're pro-gun?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I hope this doesn't come out wrong, but you were an adult film star, and they were close family members, and then you said, "Hey, I want to own a gun because it's my right, and I want to be safe," and they rejected you?
Yep.
What are your thoughts on that? How does that make you feel?
I feel like it's pretty hypocritical, honestly. I mean, it just tells you where society's going.
Yeah, we all know where it's going, and it's a round trash can.
So now do you? So you purchased firearms. You trained with, I think you said Terran, right? Terran Tactical.
Yep.
And how many?
And then I'm sorry.
No, I was going to. Well, go ahead.
So I went there, and I was like, okay, this is so much fun. I immediately 2 months later jumped into competing in Southern California.
Wow,
I've never really shot before. So think about like me, like I'm kind of lanky. I'm like an awkward deer with a gun in my hand. And I'm trying so hard to be safe and not get DQ'd from competitions. It was so funny.
How did you do?
In the beginning, not very good at all.
What kind of competition? Was it 3-gun or what kind of competition was it?
So I started in IDPA.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you have to wear like a fishing vest. You have to reload behind cover. You're shooting behind cover. There's like a certain round count for whatever division you shoot. There's rules based on whatever division you shoot for what kind of gun you can have. So I started with my Glock 19 Combat Master.
Yeah, that Terran's big on that Combat Master, isn't he? How does that thing shoot?
It's cool. And then I actually moved into shooting a CZ Shadow, which worked for me a little bit better because it's a heavier gun. Mm-hmm. And as a woman, it helps me with recoil.
Yep, my wife actually likes a CZ a lot. She doesn't have one, and it's not a pure CZ.
It's the Jericho.
The Jericho by IW.
Oh my gosh, I want one of those so bad.
But
I'm a converted Jew. I want that gun so bad.
But why can't you get one in California?
Because there's a roster, and we are not allowed to have things that are off of the roster, that are not on the roster. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Last time I heard, in order to get a new gun introduced to our roster, there must be like 2 or 3 removed, right?
Yeah, you have to remove, but not only that, it has to include technology that doesn't actually exist. So I mean,
the
micro
aren't
stamp.
they like micro stamps? Yes, yeah.
Isn't that ridiculous?
So it's absolutely ridiculous. It's like we can't even have Gen 5 Glocks.
Yeah. Boy, you got into it. You've been in it for like a year.
Yeah,
you know all the lingo.
Yeah.
You're more knowledgeable than guys I know that have been into this for 10 and 20 years.
Can't you get it at home?
I got an example. I'm on a gun show with a guy, and I think you know more than my co-host.
Oh, yeah, way more than me. Are you kidding?
Okay, so I immediately submerge myself. Like, whenever I like something, I go full into it. So
sounds
like after I did IDPA, I jumped right into 3 guns.
Wow.
So I bought a pistol, a rifle, a shotgun, a backup for everything. All the gear. I have all my belts. I have all of the different, mags. I have everything you could ever think of.
All right. Wait a minute. So you have this your CZ. What's your rifle?
I have a Cobalt right now, but I'm actually sponsored by Sons of Liberty, so they're building me up a couple of very special pieces.
I know those guys. That's awesome. Okay,
They're the best.
What's your shotgun?
I have a Dissident KS-12.
I don't even know what that sounds
See,
super fancy. I don't even know what that is. Oh,
she knows more than you.
I love shotguns too.
It's an open shotgun with a Vepr platform.
Wow.
He doesn't know what that means.
You're like,
he doesn't know what that means either.
That's what I thought. Alaina, I wasn't sure. I wasn't going to say it, but that's what I thought.
I feel so much better because this guy constantly outdoes me when it comes to that. But I can talk cars.
Yes.
I can talk cars.
So, Alaina, do you live in I don't know if you live in LA County or if you want to say you live in LA County. I think you said you already said you live in LA, right? You live in LA County?
Yeah, I live in Beverly Hills, actually.
So are you able to get a CCW?
Well, I think I can. I just haven't applied for it yet.
So we interviewed your
very
sheriff.
Rare to get.
Well, we interviewed your sheriff about a month ago, and we're actually. It looks like we're going to get a little. It looks like there's some headway, not because of us. I don't want to claim credit, but it sounds like your sheriff is actually coming to some of the same realizations that you have maybe over the last couple of years. That hey, CCWs, guns, gun ownership, it's important. So I would encourage you to apply. If we actually have we came up with a good cause worksheet, and I'll be sure to send it to you so you can apply.
Please, I would love that.
And then you report back to us so that you can kind of talk about the experience, and we can help other people. But so what would be important to you about carrying a gun on a daily basis? Why would you do that?
So, are you guys ready for a crazy story?
Yes,
always.
I am. You have no idea how ready I am for a crazy story. Go for it.
When the RECOIL guys came into town, we all went to grab lunch, right? And we're walking through Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive.
Heard of it?
So all of a sudden, this guy comes out of nowhere, gets in my face, and starts yelling at me to show me my eye, show him my eye. Show me your eyes, show me your eyes. And I'm like, what? I'm like, get away from me. And I'm trying to back away from him. And he's like getting up in my face. And I'm like, get away from me. And he wouldn't get away from me. All of a sudden, thank God, there were 2 cops across the street at the stoplight. They immediately saw this whole thing, which was getting really weird, happening. And they immediately pulled the guy over, found out that he had a warrant out, and arrested him.
Jeez, that's crazy.
I think you need a CCW.
What do you think? Was he like?
I do too. After that situation, I was like, damn, like.
Yeah.
Was he drugged out, or do you think he was just a psycho?
I think he was just so apparently I heard that he was like a shoplifter. So maybe he was like planning on robbing me or something.
Trying to steal your eyes.
Yeah, but see, that's free in California, up to $995. So
not really a crime anymore.
Yeah.
So politically, actually, before I ask that question, so we talked about how unfortunately some people rejected you because you decided to exercise your natural right to defend yourself by becoming a gun owner
and bear arms.
What's a good story? Has anybody have you converted some of your colleagues or friends? Has anybody been like, hey, this is great. I'm a gun owner too. I'm so glad you're standing up and talking about it.
Oh yeah, I've explained that I've had this like negative engagement on my Instagram and stuff, but with all the negative, I've gained very legit supporters. So like this weekend, I haven't shot at my home club down in Southern California in a couple months probably. So I shot down there this weekend and I actually won High Lady. Yay.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And everyone was so happy to see me. It was just like being with family again. People, I've started shooting with, they welcomed me. They were amazing. These guys, they run the club. They took me under their wing, and they taught me the game.
I got to tell you, gun owners.
Weird, without being, without any of that. And it feels really nice to, be accepted based on me being, a person and being friendly and being kind and being, just normal.
Over and over and over again, I see that and hear that about the gun owner community. You know, our organization, San Diego County Gun Owners, we have all kinds of events, and I watch, you know, I look across the crowd and I see young and old, men and women, rich and not so rich. You know, it's really true. It's an amazing community. I mean, is it easier? Let me ask you this. Is it easier to be a gun owner in the entertainment industry, or is it easier to be in the entertainment industry and a gun owner? You know what I mean? Which group accepts you more?
Well, being with the gun owners, of course.
Yeah, really, truly.
Yeah, I would think if you were in the entertainment industry, you would keep your gun enthusiasm to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's your goal? We have 1 minute left. What's your goal when it comes to gun ownership? You know, political or your skill level? What's your goal when it comes to gun ownership?
Olympic
in the next
shooting
year or two?
team.
All right, exactly. So I want to just continue to increase my skill. I'm going to PCC Nationals for USPSA next in 2 weeks, actually. So I'm really hoping to take something home there. I'm working with FPC, and I actually am an NRA certified instructor. So for me, like, I've been doing the all-women classes and kind of helping the women that have never shot before in these clinics become first-time shooters. So it's important for me to show that women can do this and that anything is possible. And I just want to encourage as many women as I can to defend themselves.
And I'm going to reach out to you, Alaina, and we're going to see if we can get you a CCW, and then we're going to talk all about that.
Right. Hey, and until you get your CCW, keep your sunglasses on.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. You can watch us live every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, right here on our YouTube channel, or if you're in the San Diego area, you can listen to us on 1170 a.m. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform for free. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can help restore and protect the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.